Good morning. All right, so I'm kind of overwhelmed with everything that I was hearing today. I'm trying to get all my thoughts together, but I'm happy I have others that are here, other organizers and advocates and experts that can go over some of the things that you guys had questioned about. But I just wanted to say really quick that Senator Carson, I know that you mentioned if this is something that we should take up on a federal level, but it's going to take 38 states to pass this law for us to be able to take it to the federal level. So why not start here in New Hampshire? Like everyone was mentioning, 8 states has already passed it. This year, 14 more states are proposing this type of bill. So we're trying to keep that going so that we can bring it to the federal level. And I just don't understand why in 2024, we're still trying to have a conversation on ending slavery in New Hampshire. It's pretty plain and simple. Like, slavery is not something that we should stand by. The U.S. Constitution is the land of the law. So whatever the 13th Amendment says, it goes across the entire country. So if it's something that we want to change in our state, which is why we're all here today, we have to amend the New Hampshire Constitution. And I know most of us know that it's not, the slavery language is not in the New Hampshire Constitution. So with that being said, our Constitution gets defaulted to the exact language of the 13th Amendment. And you guys all know what the 13th Amendment says. Pretty much that slavery is abolished, except if being convicted of a crime, then you're considered a slave. So we're trying to change that so we can change it federally. So I'm going to try to quickly go over my testimony that I had written, but I just wanted to address some of those issues that you guys had brought up. My name is Ophelia Burnett, and I'm the Healing Justice Program Associate with American Friends Service Committee. I am here today in support of CAR 13 and to urge you to vote ought to pass in this important bill. Do we agree that slavery needs to be abolished? Slavery was supposed and have ended with the end of the Civil War and the creation of the 13th Amendment, a promise that this great nation will no longer put someone in chains and hold them in captivity. The promise came with an exception, but not just at the federal level. Many of our New Hampshire citizens are not aware of the slavery and involuntary servitude still exist in our state, but it's true. The 13th Amendment clearly states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except of a punishment of crime, shall ever be tolerated in this state. It's this particular loophole that New Hampshire, just like many states, has never drafted a bill to abolish. Nobody should be subjected to slavery because of being convicted of a crime. As individuals with very life experience, we agree on many things, but what I believe in my heart is that my fellow New Hampshire residents don't want us to continue to be a slave state. Maybe you're thinking it's just words on a really old document and not actually a practice we uphold on an everyday basis. It's astonishing that in the 21st century, we still find ourselves discussing the need to eradicate this vile institution from our midst. But the truth is the fight against slavery is a battle that we must continue to wage until every last trace of this injustice is eradicated from our great state. My mission in life is not to advocate for formerly and currently incarcerated individuals, but to help restore human rights to all human beings because of the atrocities I witnessed firsthand and suffered while incarcerated. Incarceration is marketed as a mechanism to rehabilitate someone so they can be a productive citizen, but the culture of prison only creates or exacerbates many of the reasons people end up there. So many human beings go into the system suffering from all forms of mental illness. It could be from drug abuse, childhood trauma, physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. The effects of abject poverty or the combination of all the above. One, they are released from the prison. It can be extremely difficult to acclimate themselves into the outside world. It can be compared to being dropped off in another country where you don't know the language, but you're expected to figure it out with little to no help. Far too many are frightened, and they end up back in the hell where they wanted to escape. It's called recidivism, but it's also being coined as post-incarceration syndrome. The narrative is that someone is merely a repeat offender or a career criminal, but what they may actually be is an impoverished, abused child, turned offender, turned abused by the state, enslaved adult. Everyone needs to be held accountable for their wrongdoings. This also includes the state. I'm almost done. What we the people are attempting to do, not just here, but in 8 other states across the country, is advocate for empathy and radical change in how we rehabilitate and help our fellow human beings become productive citizens who can be held accountable for their actions without being exploited, abused, or killed. This cycle will not end until there is nothing to gain financially from other person's life being destroyed. We the people will not rest until any and all financial incentives to incarcerate and discontinued and erased from America economics. We will begin our work with the president that created this monster in the first place, the constitutional exception clause of criminality. So let us not forget the legacy we leave for future generations, one that either perpetuates the horrors of the past or paves the way for a brighter future and more inclusive future. There is no such thing as tough or soft on crime. We are either pro-slavery and choose not to accept a bill abolishing slavery and involuntary servitude in its entirety, or we are anti-slavery and we fix our community by accepting the bill to abolish slavery and involuntary servitude, recognize the humanity in each of us. I respectfully ask that you approve this bill and go on record to abolish slavery in its entirety. We can't reform a prison system whose roots are slavery and involuntary servitude.
Thank you for your testimony. Question, Senator Carson.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Burnett. It's good to see you here.
Good to see you, Tim.
You had mentioned that there are 8 other states that are considering this.
Yes.
Do you know if those states are within New England?
Vermont.
Okay, so it's New Hampshire and Vermont here in New England.
Yes, Vermont has already passed it, which is one of the New England states, and New Hampshire that is proposing this bill that hasn't passed it yet, but hopefully we will this year.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
I just had one more thing. I have testimony from Black Lives Matter New Hampshire that I want to pass out to you guys after.
Okay. Yep, you can give it to Ed either. Thank you. All right, seeing no further questions, thanks for your testimony.
Thank you.
Tim?